I always loved her with the same passion as when we first met. In every glance, I saw our world, our home, our little paradise. Every day was filled with care and affection, with small rituals that mattered only to us. We could talk for hours about the future or simply sit in silence, enjoying each other's company. But over time, something changed. Not suddenly, not abruptly. It was like a gentle breeze blowing far away, gradually turning into a storm that I didn't notice until it overwhelmed me. I began to lose touch with who I used to be. Work, routine, and perhaps my own weariness with life led me astray. And one day, I crossed a line, but even then, I didn't realize how much it would change everything. It wasn't an instant flash of passion, but rather a slow, almost imperceptible unraveling that I had started myself. It all began with simple conversations, talking, joking, innocent topics. At first, I didn't think it was dangerous. She was a good listener, and I found myself sharing things with her that I had long stopped discussing at home. Gradually, her attention became something I craved, and our conversations turned into something more. I couldn't help but notice how I kept returning to those talks, seeking her company. It seemed light and harmless, just pleasant distraction from everyday life. But beneath that surface innocence, something deeper was hidden, something I had long been denying. When the moment came, and we found ourselves alone, I felt as though I was drowning in that closeness. I knew I was doing wrong, but my mind was clouded, and I stopped listening to my inner voice. I convinced myself that it was just a moment of weakness, that it didn't mean anything. But in reality, it was the turning point after which there was no return. With each new encounter, I found myself sinking deeper into this whirlpool of betrayal. Gradually, I began to notice how my relationship with my wife grew colder. The small rituals that once defined us now felt empty. I started avoiding her, making excuses to spend more time away from home. I tried to deceive myself, insisting that it was temporary, that everything would return to normal. But there was no way back. Betrayal wasn't just a physical act, it was the destruction of trust, the very bond that held us together. And every day, I felt the chasm between us growing wider with every step I took toward another woman. At some point, I realized that I could no longer ignore the destructive consequences of my actions. Looking back, I recognized that I hadn't only lost my wife, I had lost myself. Our relationship had been built on a foundation of love, trust, and respect, and now that foundation was shattered by my weakness. When the truth came out, it was like an explosion that destroyed everything I had built over the years. My wife looked at me with a gaze I will never forget, a mix of pain, disappointment, and utter emptiness. It was the moment when I realized that despite all my justifications, I had caused her irreparable harm. She left, leaving me alone with my thoughts and guilt. And in the silence of our home, I understood one important thing: love cannot be taken for granted. It requires constant effort, attention, and honesty, and once you stop investing in it, it begins to fade away. Betrayal not only destroyed our relationship but also forced me to reconsider who I had become. I had lost the part of myself that was capable of genuine love and care. And now I had to pick up the pieces and figure out how to move forward, knowing that the love I once had was destroyed by my own hands.